Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and today we're going to be talking about the new moves that were introduced with the Isle of Armor. So pretty much all of them are going to be tutor moves that various Pokemon can learn, then the rest are going to be signature moves of the new Pokemon that were introduced in the DLC. If you want to get access to the tutor moves, go dojo, talk to this guy right here, make sure you have some Armorite ore, and then you can exchange 5 Armorite ore to have one of your Pokemon learn a move if it's eligible. Getting Armorite ore isn't really that difficult, just do a ton of max raid battles and explore the island and you're going to have plenty. Now these moves are wild. Some of them I would consider meta changing, others pretty useless. And then there's some moves that are kind of really niche that certain Pokemon just like make way better use of. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with these tutor moves, but long story short, a couple of Pokemon get to learn new moves for each type. Gets kind of crazy. So what I want to do is hop on over to Bulbapedia so we can get the full details as to what's going on with these moves, starting off with Terrain Pulse. It's a normal typing, but it's not a normal type move that pretty much like every normal type Pokemon is going to get access to and use. No, it actually works like Weather Ball, except for terrains. So the power doubles from 50 to 100, and then it becomes that typing. Now what gets scary is if you combo this correctly, because a Fairy type 100 base power move, if you have Misty Terrain up on a Pokemon that doesn't get access to Fairy type moves, is kind of ridiculous, but then Grass and Electric and Psychic, they're going to benefit from the terrain effect, so it becomes 130 base power. Let's take a look at the Pokemon that get access to it. Now, the weird thing about these tutors is that if you look at them, the list isn't really that big. So a couple of Pokemon get to make a little bit of use out of it, but then some just kind of get way too much. So we're going to keep an eye as to what's going on over here. However, I think Indeedee is going to be one of the biggest ones. Set Psychic Terrain, and then just does shenanigans. Other ones, you're probably going to need a Mega Pokemon or another terrain setter to kind of get them going. Like, I'm thinking about Venusaur. Venusaur's already, like, in Sunny Day with Chlorophyll, making use of Solar Beam, so it doesn't want to have the grassy terrain for the Grass-type one, but if you can get, like, Misty Terrain, or use the opponents, this could be some really interesting tech against other people that are just, like, that are using Dynamax recklessly and then setting up for you to have a much higher base power move against them. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. Blastoise, it's a big special attacker and it's bulky. It might just tech this for the fun of it and then have an electric type 100 base power move, depending on what happens. So do have to pay attention to some Pokemon that get it. Lucario, that changes up the special set quite a bit. Clawitzer, this is a pulse move. That's 50% more power on top of that. And then the terrain effect as well. Like, Clawitzer using a ridiculously overpowered Grass-type move that gets to, like, 200 base power. I don't think it's going to make Clawitzer viable, but I mean, like, what happens if you put a Clawitzer next to a Rillaboom, and then Rillaboom is using Grassy Glide, and Clawitzer has all of this other coverage, or is just doing a 200 base power Grass-type move? So we got some things that might work out. Palossand, surprisingly really good special attacker. It has a very high special attack, and it's also just bulky. Oranguru, I mean, if Oranguru gets more usage, we might see some really cool stuff come from this, and Executor. So yeah, not every Pokemon gets to use it, like, ridiculously, but there's something going on here. And again, the anti-tech might be the way of playing it, might add some slight viability to some Pokemon. Burning Jealousy. What was Game Freak thinking? But it does make sense, and it's kind of good, and it's kind of anti-setup, but still ridiculous to think about. Burning Jealousy inflicts damage to all adjacent opponents and will burn any opponent that has increased its stats during that turn. So it's like a Will-O-Wisp that could potentially hit both opponents. Like, if you have a slow like, okay, opponent Dynamaxes, they get a buff from Airstream, Steel Spike, any of those moves that can, like, buff your stats, Max Ooze, etc. They get a buff from that, and they get to burn them while dealing damage. I think the damage itself is negligible. That 70, maybe getting stab, and then split against both opponents. Not super insane, but it's like a damaging Will-O-Wisp that has 100% accuracy, and depending on the opponent's strat, like, everyone's stat boosting these days, so you're going to just burn the opponent, which means anti-setup is going to be really strong. This is definitely going to get most of its usage in doubles, but I mean, teching this in singles, like if the opponent goes for a Swords Dance, you hit them with this, they get burned, they get their attack stat cut in half, so that Swords Dance means nothing. Same thing for Dragon Dance or any other setup that's physical, primarily like Curse, even though it's going to be on a slower Pokemon. Wait, is it just for that turn? Increases stats during that turn, so yeah. Gonna be hard to be slower than a Curse Pokemon. So there might be some weird interactions, but yeah, if you just put this like on a slower Pokemon and you really make it happen, going to be kind of insane. Works like Incineroar gets it. I don't think Mimikyu is going to do too much. Cursula, fire coverage. Excuse me. Chandelure already does like weird anti-trick room, anti-meta things. Torkoal just kind of sits there and now it gets to burn. So, Ninetales against the sweeping Pokemon might find something to do with it as well. It's going to be interesting to see if a couple Pokemon pick this up and make it work. So now we can go Flip Turn. This is why we're on Bulbapedia, because, you know, you go over here and you're going to like try to figure out what's going on. After making its attack, or not Flip Turn, I'm getting that confused with Triple Axel. Never mind. Next one. So Flip Turn is effectively just going to be Volt Switch or U-Turn for water types. Good amount of Pokemon get access to it. I think Sharpedo is going to have a field day with this move. You know, it can either, like if it's in a really bad situation and has like speed boost and stuff, just gets out, does some damage. That's kind of nice. Wishy-Washy's interesting. Barraskewda, I like, for me personally, I think that U-Turn and Volt Switch are really bad moves because like move slot syndrome and also just kind of like traps into a mindset instead of trying to play it through or play it out. And it can screw you over in some situations. But I think, like, you know, there might be a place where this works. However, when you look at the Pokemon that get it, I think it's really only going to be maybe Barraskewda and Sharpedo that can even use this move successfully. Physical attack, so it's not like a Volt Switch, more like U-Turn. Either way, you use it and you pop out. We got Grassy Glide. Why? Why did Game Freak do this? Grassy Glide inflicts damage, has priority used on grassy terrain, 70 base power. It becomes a Sucker Punch, you know, kind of like a Sucker Punch feeling kind of move. I'm just thinking, like, what's Rillaboom going to do with this? Comes in, sets its own grassy terrain, gets a 30% boost, gets Stab. You Choice Band it on just a gnarly Pokemon like that, and it's insane. So it is a physical move, which means Rillaboom gets the most out of it. That's why we have to pay attention. Like, Venusaur, probably not going to do too much with it. Blossom, probably not going to do too much with it. A lot of these Pokemon are going to be special attackers. Shiftry might get something out of it, but it also has Sucker Punch. However, that just kind of gives you a higher damage Sucker Punch if terrain is up, or you just use Sucker Punch anyway, and you play this priority game against your opponent. Leafeon. Leafeon has a ridiculous attack stat. One of the things that's missing is that it gets blown up. So this, like Leafeon Rillaboom, or like a Rillaboom comes in, sets up for the Leafeon. Leafeon comes in at some point. You know, Rillaboom, maybe, okay, Rillaboom just runs it down with a terrain extender, and then Leafeon can still come in and maybe have something go. Now, when you are locking yourself into terrains, you can get hard counter, like, okay, fire-type move, or like a fire-type Pokemon, what you going to do? Another terrain setup, what you going to do? But while it's out, while it's active, if you're playing with it, like, these Pokemon make it work. Trevenant really would like some priority. Maractus, Decidueye. I mean, we could just go through this list. If it's a physical attacker, it's really going to like this. Kind of the way of going it. And then Rillaboom's just nutty with like Choice Band priority and crazy damage boosting. Flapple even. Yeah. A lot of like, this is gonna be one of the better ones. Game Freak went for it, and it's like you hear this move and your jaw just drops, and that's pretty much all you need. Coaching. I think this is gonna be like one of the most trash moves. Double battle, coaching boosts the user's partner's attack and defense by one stage it. That's it. That's it. That's it. I think this can get an interesting amount of usage on Hitmontop, because Hitmontop is already supportive. It wants to fake out. It wants to just kind of like run around and disrupt the opponent. It can Helping Hand. Instead of Helping Hand, this is effectively going to give it the same amount of damage, and that damage is going to stick. So Hitmontop can like survive for 3 turns. You know, first turn fake out, second turn coaching, third turn like quick guard, or something like it's also the wide guard, right? Like you can do a lot of weird stuff with the Hitmontop. Like, yeah, you got Wide Guard, Quick Guard, Endeavor. So, I mean, like, Focus Sash. Like, you fake out, your ally Pokemon gets hit by the other Pokemon. You use Coaching. You get one shot on a Focus Sash Endeavor. You Endeavor the next turn, and then you still have, like, that Coaching benefit. I think to make Coaching good, it would need to be plus attack, defense, special defense. Like, attack and defense, that's a bulk up. Pokemon already get bulk up. you're probably better off with, like, having that support Pokemon. Instead of having it coaching, just have a Meowstic or a Grimmsnarl use Light Screen Reflect under Prankster. And you're going to get more out of that coaching while your allied Pokemon is bulking up and then getting ridiculous. And, like, support Machamp. Like, some of these Pokemon, if they want to do something supporty, Scrafty just hangs around for a while if there's no Fairy-type moves. Hawlucha wants Sweep. It doesn't want support. Passimian wants to receive abilities from the ally dying. Not seeing it. Not seeing what you can do with that one, to be honest. We got Scorching Sands. Instead of nerfing Scald in Generation 8, Game Freak made another Scald. Ground type, special move, 30% chance of burning the target. Charizard gets access to it. Charizard has a special ground type move now. Ninetales. Like, yeah, so you get a mix of like fire, rock, and ground type Pokemon that just get to do things with this. Once again, gated by the physical or special. But I mean, like, some Pokemon can use this. Like Hippowdon, if it just hits the opponent and burns them, it's going to get mileage out of that. It's like you give Hippowdon Scald. You just like give a Pokemon that doesn't care about damage. You give a tanky Pokemon Scald, and it's still kind of ridiculous. So Excadrill, I think, just wants to blow things up instead. So you have to look at the bulkiness of it. Incineroar can do that maybe instead of Will-O-Wisp. And then you look at some of the Pokemon that get it. Colossal, it's already a special attacker, like it might, or just wants to go for crazy damage. Palossand gets Stab on that. Not as good as the Earth Power, but if it's like a tanky Palossand, maybe it wants that. So this is a weird move. I don't know how much usage it's going to get, but like if Pokemon just is running in a very specific way and goes, hey, I get Scorching Sand. Well, there you go. We got Dual Wingbeat. Nothing special here. Dual Wingbeat inflicts damage, hitting you twice per use. Yep. 90% accuracy. Flying offensive moves are just like non-existent. Like, I don't know. It seems pretty bad. You know, just Meteor Beam. Now this is where the game gets wacky. On the turn it's selected, Meteor Beam will raise the user's special attack by 1 level. On the following turn, Meteor Beam will do damage. So we got Sky Attack, we got a Charge move, Rock type special attack. Like, everyone's been wanting more special rock stuff. Here you go. And here's how it was done. Every Pokemon that uses this needs a Power Herb. So, I mean, Power Herb means you're getting a +1. It's like free Choice Band that lets you change moves while instantly using this attack and then getting crazy damage on top of it. Fortunately, not a lot of Rock-type special attackers. But, I mean, Starmie. Starmie didn't need special Rock coverage. And now it's got instant special Rock coverage that just murders everything. Like, if it can use that on a Flying type instead of an Ice Beam and it just KOs and now has a free, actually, you can use that against, actually, I was about to say, you know, whatever, Fire type Pokemon, but you have Water anyways. I mean, I guess the coverage doesn't add too much. Starmie has Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, but it's still gonna work. And then you have a free special attack, and then you're still a high-speed Pokemon. So, if Starmie's the fastest Pokemon in this game and gets to Power Herb Meteor Beam, it just wins. Now, it can get Sucker Punched out. Dragapult is probably going to put a ton of pressure on Starmie and make it not super viable. I mean, that's still not okay. Cursula gets it. That's not okay. Pretty much my whole thing, my breakdown, this is like, that's not okay. You can look at some Pokemon, but then, like, we got some legendaries, so not really going to see it in the usage that much of, like, standard play, but it's going to happen. Colossal did not need this as a mixed attacker. Kind of insane. Then some weirdness. So, yeah, like, the Pokemon that get access to it, I don't think this is going to make like Solrock or Lunatone viable. They don't have the stat to get damage out of it, but I just think like Starmie is ridiculous, Cursula is ridiculous, and then Colossal. Like, those 3 Pokemon are going to use this move absurdly. I guess Colossal wants weakness policy set up instead, but I mean, you're getting half, well, actually you're getting more than half of weakness policy while doing that much damage. Kind of crazy. Triple Axel. Now, this is what I got confused with earlier. So, Triple Axel, it does things. So, consecutive 3-kick attack that becomes more powerful with each successive hit. So, it's like triple kick. And when you look at it, it's 20 base power. So, 20, 40, 60? That doesn't sound right. That sounds way too strong. Bulbapedia, 20, 40, 60. And then we get into math. So, each strike has 90% base accuracy. There is a 72% chance it will hit 3 times for 120 base power. An 8.1% chance it will hit twice for 60 base power, and a 9% chance it will hit once for 20 base power. So it's either a 60 or a 120. Huh. Or there's a 19% chance you just get like hard screwed over. With all 3 accuracy checks and base powers taken into account, move's effective power is 94.14. I think there's too much variance to make it feel like a 94.14. Like when you look at Rock Blast, it's like, okay, Rock Blast, that's effectively a rock slide. It has like the 79 power. Feels that way because there's 5 opportunities here. However, what? These are as Skill Link. Move will have 1 accuracy check. So Skill Link Pokemon are what we're going to be looking for. That's just kind of foreshadowing. I don't understand Game Freak. Like, why give these, like, these moves are good or they're just bad, and so not a lot of Pokemon can use them, and they get them in the tutor in the weird way. I wish more Pokemon got access to some of these tutors. Like, these lists just feel small. These lists just don't make any sense. And then, like, one Pokemon on the list just breaks this move wide open. Chinchino, with a 120 power Ice-type move. It still can Choice Band. It still can Scarf. It can King's Rock and have 3 hits on a King's Rock, giving you like 27% chance to flinch, while doing a 120 base power Ice move. It's kind of ridiculous like that. It is physical though, so that means like Frostlass can't use it. So I mean, again, you have to look at the Pokemon. Gallade, with like this weird high variance Ice-type move. Weavile as well. But I mean, depends on the Pokemon you're hitting. Like if you're hitting a super effective hit on this and it's a sashed Pokemon and you get 2 hits, well, that's going to be... Actually, no, you need all 3. But it's a decent chance to hit all 3. But even hitting 2 is like gonna hurt. And then like the other Pokemon, I just don't really see too much usage coming in. Like what's Frostmoth going to do with this? Serena might get it. Serena with Ice-type coverage, if it has nothing else to do, just throw it out there. RNG, the 72% chance or whatever it is. Yeah, 73% chance that you just one-shot the opponent with an Ice-type move as a Serena. If you're Salt Vested, sure. Maybe you survive something weird like an Ice Beam, and then you just wreck the opponent on it. We got Corrosive Gas. User surrounds everything around it with highly acidic gas, melts away items they hold. Not a lot of Pokemon get this. I was like thinking, like, what do we do for supportiveness? Like, what supportive Poison-type Pokemon are Game Freak going to buff? I think Tentacruel can use this really effectively. That's kind of it. Fast Gengar, though. Like, what if you do something stupid in doubles? Scarf Gengar, Corrosive Gas. Just remove all of the items, turn 1, from the game. And then, I don't know, maybe have like an Acrobatics Pokemon next to you, or some kind of other interaction. I'm like Misty Seed, maybe? Well, actually, so what, not Misty Seed, but I mean, you bring in a Pokemon that sets terrain. Pincurchin Electric Seed on itself. You have Weezing Misty Seed on it. There's not a lot. Rillaboom with its own Grassy Seed. Like, I'm trying to think, like, when there's certain things, like, you know, you can make them happen instantly. So, I mean, if you can insta-use a consumable item before the Gengar, and then still, like, get the Corrosive Gas. But that's what I mean, these moves are so weird. They just feel bad. Or not enough Pokemon get them. Or not the right Pokemon get them. So I'm just trying to come up with some weird, stupid stuff, because Gengar's on the list. Weezing, though, kind of makes sense. Like, I like this. Like, why didn't they just make this a signature move of Weezing, and then give us a better Poison-type tutor? Did I just have a revelation? Did people watching this video just go, oh, yeah, why didn't they do that? Because that's what that feels like. Like, Weezing with the Corrosive Gas, Neutralizing Gas, that's a dank combo that just kind of removes all the autonomy in the game. Again, maybe you Scarf Weezing into it. If you're already getting rid of the all the items, Scarf isn't going to matter. Just melt it away, melt everyone else's away. And now you have Misty Terrain, no abilities, no items, which also means no status. That's funny. But is Weezing going to do enough on top to capitalize on that along with your other Pokemon? By the way, we have a Misty Explosion talk about coming up. So, I don't know. Support Garbodor, I don't even think that's possible. Support Skuntank, I don't think that's possible. Are we waiting for Crown Tundra? That you bring the new Pokemon from Crown Tundra in and then that makes it work? I'm not feeling it, guys. So, there's also this weird thing on Bulbapedia where some of the moves haven't, like, fully updated just yet. Or maybe they did in the time I was recording this video. Interesting. Yes and no. I didn't talk about rising voltage because it's kind of self-explanatory. No, user attacks with electric voltage rising from the ground. Power doubles when the target is on electric terrain. So the scary thing about rising voltage is like Rotom can use it and get the full effect of the damage because it's just about if the target is there. However, if the target is like a flying type, there's kind of no point to getting it. However, 70 base power doubling. That's a lot of damage. And there's a lot you can do with that probably. Like, again, Pincurchin support, and then you have a Rotom that's just like scarfed using this and killing everything. Potential possibility. Actually, if Rotom gets it. Right. I guess that's... We can check it. Well. Let's talk about expanding force, because it's the same thing. And let's just make sure... So that's weird. It hasn't updated the power on Bulbapedia, but it has the list of all the Pokemon. However, we can just kind of go down. 80? The user attacks target with Psychic Power... okay. The user attacks target with Psychic Power. This move's power goes up and damages all opposing Pokemon on Psychic Terrain. Now it says goes up. Is it just 30%? And it says it damages all opposing Pokemon. So yeah, it gets like an extra weird effect, but also it gets terrain damage boosting, which is... It's an insane... it's an insane amount of damage. Does it go up 50%? Like, is it a 120 power move that then gets the Psychic... Okay, let's look at the Pokemon as well. Like, Math and Sadness. Like, Alakazam, expanding force. Sounds kind of nutty. So we have Alakazam using a 120 base power move that stabs into 180, that then gets the Psychic Terrain effect for another 30% on top of that. Now it does, like, lose 25% damage, but that doesn't matter, and then it hits both opponents. However, Incineroar is just, like, everywhere, so Dark-type Pokemon are still immune. Did Game Freak take that in consideration? It's like, oh, sometimes Pokemon are going to be immune, so it's okay to put Rising Voltage and Psychic Terrain in these crazy damage values. Did they also, like, consider Rotom and stuff, so they didn't make it a higher base power? And they're like, well, yeah, you have to be grounded to get that extra 30%. I don't know. Alakazam's going to be good. Raichu's going to be good with this. Starmie, if you run specific strats. Like, you do have to get the terrain out. But, like, there's so many things you could do. Like, maybe you just have fast Pokemon using Psychic, the Mind Storm, and then... wow, a lot of... Why do so many Pokemon actually get this one? Reuniclus is going to be very strong with that. Reuniclus already has, like, Trick Room support next to an Indeedee. If you just don't have, like, 2 Dark-type Pokemon to hardwall this move, you're going to kind of be in trouble. Just, fun stuff to think about, guys. Wow. I already knew what to expect, and that's still, like, kind of crazy. Poltergeist. Poltergeist is trash. Physical move. What Ghost-type Pokemon is going to want to use physical stuff? I guess Marowak gets a nice thing out of it. Shedinja can use it. Frostlass needs a buff in some kind of way, but it's not going to get that through a physical attack. Also has 90 accuracy, is garbage. Make it 100 base power and 100% accuracy. It also doesn't have... It's kind of like knockoff without knocking off the item, like how knockoff gets that bonus damage. Weird. Poltergeist deals damage to targets holding an item. Otherwise, it fails. What? Just... It's such a simple, straightforward move that just feels wrong. Like, it's that every Pokemon holds an item. I guess there's, like, consumable items that kind of trip you up on this, but I mean, like, 110 power for that? RNG on top of it? That's weird. Dusknoir, I think, is going to be one of the best Pokemon to use this. Like, instead of Dusclops Trick Room, you go Dusknoir Trick Room, and then you just have this crazy bop of a move. Cofagrigus might make people hurt with it. Golurk, Trevenant, Decidueye, Dhelmise. Dhelmise can get something out of it. And that's it. Now, one thing I think is funny. So when we had the data mine, people are like, oh, Poltergeist is going to be the signature new move of Poltergeist. Duh. It's like, no, when you look at the rest of it, of course, there's going to be tutor moves for specific types. And just because it's Poltergeist and Poltergeist. Poltergeist is also a thing that all Ghost-type Pokemon can do. Wow. Or not all Ghost-type, but you know, it's a thing to Ghost, not just the Teacup. And Teacup can't even use it. Get wrecked. Renorigus. I don't know. Maybe. Scale Shot. Here's one of those busted ones that's just like, huh? So Rock Blast. We already know the numbers behind that. Hits 2 to 5 times. You can get like crazy power out of it. Either, you know, there's a 16.7% chance it hits 5 times. So you have that chance you do 125 damage. And then if you stack that, there's like a 33% chance that you end up doing 100 damage or more. However, the average comes out to around 80. So it's kind of a risk, especially when you have just the reliability of Dragon Claw. But I mean, people will run the Rock Blast over the Rock Slide. People run Bullet Seed over the Seed Bomb because you can get that variance in there and just ruin opponents' days. However, after each successful hit, not just use it once, each successful hit, speed is raised by 1, defense is lowered by 1. I don't, this doesn't mean anything. You're already sweeping at that point. Game Freak. Game Freak. What are you doing? I don't know. And also King's skill, whatever. None of this matters. What matters is that you're getting a Pokemon that gets free speed like that. So Charizard, I guess like it is physical. There is some gating here. Gyarados gets less tanky, but it gets free speed like that. And now it has just that extra dragon coverage to slap in there. Dunsparce. Ooh. Oh, like Dunsparce is slow. Dunsparce survives a hit, uses this 3 times, because that's the average. Even 2. Even if it doubles its speed. It now has Serene Grace. Why? I did not pay. Wait. Dunsparce is one of my favorite Pokemon. If you yeah. Huh. If you've been a fan of my channel for a while, you know this Pokemon was busted. Am I missing something? Okay, I had to make sure. Like, did they get rid of Rock Slide to prevent the double 60% flinch? No. Did they get rid of Headbutt? That wouldn't make any sense, but there it is. So, they didn't get rid of the hacks. Well, I don't know. Kingdra can get speed. Like, Kingdra just gets speed with this. It doesn't matter. Like, I guess to a degree, it doesn't matter if it's a physical move. If you're just using it as, like, a free agility that does some damage or something. But, I mean, that's still kind of ridiculous. And then we can look at some Pokemon like Haxorus just uses it and hurts. Dragon-type Pokemon just pick this up and hurt. Drampa takes a hit, goes berserk, gets speed. Am I missing something here? Because that's insane. And it only reduces defense, so against special attackers you're still fine. Steel Roller. Use their attacks while destroying the terrain. Finally. This is what we needed. Alright, so what does... Oh yeah, Skitter Smack was another one that was kind of missing with the weird not showing the moves. I don't think Skitter Smack is good. Like, it's physical, but we already have Struggle Bug if we want to drop the opponent's special attack stat. 70 power, 90 accuracy, like what's the point? What is the point? So let's go and check out, oh yeah, Lash Out. Lashes out to vent its frustration towards target. Stats were lowered during turn, power is doubled. Yeah, Lash Out is like an Intimidate, or like an anti-intimidate, get some damage in there. That's potentially a thing. There is some, like, reducing of stats, but this isn't like burning jealousy levels of it's just like that's all right. Might have something happen. Some Pokemon might pick it up as a form of tech, but it's still physical. So I mean, you get hit with the Intimidate and you are doing damage. If you are getting a good dark type Pokemon, might have something happen, but it's kind of gated, kind of all right. Stats roller during turn might work off an ally. So if an ally can lower your stats and then you get like a 150 bop, potentially something that can happen from it. Steel Roller. So 130 power physical move. They have to have terrain, but pretty much with the current state of the game, there's like terrain all over the place. Scarfing is probably the way to go. That way you can like anti all of these crazy terrain strats we've been talking about throughout the entire video. Non-steel type Pokemon get access to it. So you can like Steel Roller through it with some other weird Pokemon. Snorlax probably wants to tech this in some kind of weird way. Steelix, again, I don't think it's viable if it's not super fast. Well, I just mentioned Snorlax. If it's not super fast to get hard usage out of it. I'm not seeing like crazy Pokemon that can use this effectively in doubles. Maybe some in singles as just kind of like sitting back on it. Yeah, that's actually a great move that gets horrid Pokemon with access to it. Unlucky. Misty Explosion. Going back to the Galarian Weezing. Galarian Weezing just like removes everything from the game and then removes the Pokemon, but that doesn't make sense. Like, if you use the Corrosive Gas, get rid of items, then immediately like KO both the opponent's Pokemon off the explosion, doesn't work that way. Well, I mean, it does work that way, but still kind of silly. However, that's like a nutty move. Misty Explosion inflicts damage, causes you to faint, under Misty Terrain, base power is doubled 200. So, you get looking for the Fairy-type Pokemon to get it, like Wigglytuff. Will just do ridiculous things. Weezing, I wonder if like people are just going to sit in a Weezing for an instant nuke. Misty Terrain does not boost damage like the other terrains, so it's not like you even find crazier damage on top of it. Weezing also isn't like a massive nuke Pokemon, unless it takes a hit, choice specs, and then just kind of wipes the field. People want Weezing gone because of its ability wiping. It's going to be hard for an ally to survive. Like, the thing is, like, Weezing allied Pokemon. Protect, double focus the Weezing, never goes off. I don't know if Scarf is enough damage to threaten a lot of Pokemon. We're going to see how that plays out. So, that's a thing. Gardevoir, Romatize, Slurpuff, Sylveon. Like, yeah, if Hatterene surprises you with a Misty Explosion, that's going to be pretty bad. And I mean, it doesn't even matter to a degree. Like, 100 base power, split in doubles, kind of bad. But I mean, if it's just like the last resort, just use this. Sylveon got +1 Calm Mind, Misty Explosions, takes 2 with it. Could get away with something like that. Like, there might be just like the surprise factor that this isn't going to be a 100% used move, but you have to kind of be aware of it, and if you don't make that prediction, you're going to fall way far behind in the battle. And then we got signature moves. Shell Sidearm. Shell Sidearm inflicts damage, may poison target. Physical or special damage, depending on which will damage the target more. That's pretty cool. We've talked about it. That's more about the Slowbro. Also, we got Surging Strike's Wicked Blow. I did a big breakdown on Urshifu. Check out that video in the description down below. Jungle Healing. So stupid busted. Like, what is this? Restores hit points of user and its allies. Heals any status conditions. Everyone. Mythical power creep, am I right? Well, there we go, guys. I don't know. Like, again, it doesn't feel like enough Pokemon get some moves. We kind of, like, talked about all the good Pokemon that get access that can make use of this. But it is something to keep an eye on when the Crown Tundra comes out. If these moves stay around in future games, when we have, like, more National Dex access, maybe a few more will have it happen. And then there's still a couple of Pokemon that I maybe didn't talk about fully that might have something happen here. But kind of underwhelming. Disappointed by that one. And also, like, other tutor moves didn't come back. We still need Defog and Pain Split. So, who knows? Either way, hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.